The answer to all of our problems isn't the Republican Party.
Come on.
It's not the Democrat Party. It's not the Independent Party. If you believe that one political party the very next day can turn on the light switch and everything will be fixed, you're wrong.
Signaling from the conservative chasm of Central Valley, California, it's the outlaws your conscience warned you about. Let's welcome your hosts, Loto and PhillVill.
What up? Welcome back to Overflow EXT. Just in a conversation with Loto and PhillVill. Want to welcome the family. It is episode 18. Man, guess Phil. Guess what that means, brother?
18. I think you're an adult now, right?
Yes, we are grown-ups.
Grown-ups, yes. Woo! Oh, I get to stay up past midnight now, I think.
It's like, you know what, bro, man? There was nothing more like anticlimactic as turning 18, bro.
I know. I remember just like, do I get to do this?
Yes.
I don't even know. I don't even remember that. Do you remember that?
Bro, I remember, like, man, I was super excited about turning 18. And then I found out, like, the only difference is you just don't need your parents' signature anymore. Which for me,
Yeah.
that was big because, I didn't do bad things.
Liar, liar, pants on fire.
So I wasn't doing anything I
nothing.
needed parents' signature.
You're always listening.
Anyway, yes. So
No, my parents told me what to do forever.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Excuse me. That's a pizza right there.
How
do I do that? My parents told me to do stuff forever.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know, bro. Man, for reals, man. I'm still listening to my mom today. PhillVill, why don't you drop the drip, brother?
Hello, everybody. It's great having you back on Overflow EXT podcast. And we got a full lineup today. We're first going to be talking about, of course, the tragedy that just shook the hip hop world. And speaking of some music, aspiring rapper, became somebody's hero. We talk about that. And then there's an election not just happening here locally and nationally. So elections happen across the world. We're going to touch a little bit on that. And then Christmas is approaching. We've been talking about a classic that is finally getting another sequel. We'll talk about that. And then sequels, well, there's another one about some blue people. And then, of course, the Elon exodus is still happening and shaking the entertainment elite world. And then we're going to talk about Julia Roberts' birthday and some things that she happens to be connected to a king. And of course, we're going to have the extended conversation with who, Loto?
Guillermo Moreno. Thank you so much, Phil, for dropping that drip. Speaking of dropping and newsmakers and breakers, PhillVill, I want to make sure that everybody, knows that you have been working on some things that will make the content a lot more consumable and easier to share. You've done things like, obviously everybody knows about the reels,
Yeah.
Some have come across, newsmakers and breakers being it's actually own, video package, and then even with the interviews and all that, just really slicing the video so that, it's just the interviews, without the prelim stuff, like our bantering and all that. Did I miss anything, bro?
Yeah, that's it. And then we just want to make it, like you said, a lot more like spoonful size snippets of what's happening here at Overflow. There's a lot of content, a lot of great interviews,
Yes.
a lot of amazing moments.
Oh, yeah.
We want to capture it and share that with you guys. And stay tuned for more.
Yes. Now, bro, I know how you feel about this because, you're not a sales guy, and you don't like sounding like one, but there's something about PhillVill that, a lot of people don't realize or know, everything. I'm not kidding when I say he's the man with the bag of swags when it comes to the eye candies, and even the audio stuff that you guys hear and see here on Overflow EXT. PhillVill actually has a whole nother gig. He has a whole nother gig because Overflow is not his only gig. PhillVill, I know you kind of shy away from talking about this, but I want to make sure everybody is aware, of who it is that really put so much into this. Because brother, you put a lot into this. What's your other gig called?
Echolite Media.
Echolite Media, yes. Okay, can you kind of tell them, about Echolite Media and its connection to Overflow?
Echolite Media, it's just started off as a hobby as a young man and just been doing production for many years. And it's just evolved into doing my own business. I was just very grateful to do something I love doing, being creative. But just very grateful for what you laughing. Are you laughing at me?
So, see, some of you guys can see the reluctancy. This was actually something I wanted to do in episode number 1. Family, do you remember when we did all that interview stuff and all that? This guy doesn't like talking about this stuff, but seriously, bro, you do such an amazing job, PhillVill, and it doesn't pass me, and I don't want it to pass everybody else. The sacrifice that you make, man, to really make this podcast pop, brother. It's I really thank God because it's reaching so many people. It's doing exactly what we've been praying for, and that's being a blessing to so many. And man, the word of God is the word of God.
Yeah.
The presence of God is the presence of God. It doesn't need our help. But man, I love it when great gifts come in great packages. And PhillVill, you have made Overflow EXT such a beautiful package, in delivering it to the folks, man. So. PhillVill is actually, so all this stuff that you see, he's behind it, and I thank God, man, because I get the easy job. All I do is cast vision. This guy goes and makes a reality, and so, man, PhillVill, is there anything that I missed, brother, about Ecolite?
Me, I don't like doing self-promotion, but I do appreciate sentiment, or I really appreciate you just always encouraging me along the way.
Well, then put a smile on your face and stop looking at me like that. Amen.
You guys, it's hard to talk about myself. Really, I just love what I'm doing with you on Overflow, but also too, I have great clients, great churches, great businesses that I work with, and just I love seeing people's dreams and visions come to pass. And now here on Overflow is we have a sure dream and vision of what God is going to do here and what God is already doing, and I love just trying to make it look nice.
Okay, that stuff. Okay, that sounds cute, but I want to say what he's not wanting. He doesn't want to say. Okay. No, seriously, this is my brother. This is my brother, and I support all of my brothers and sisters. So man, Christmas is coming up, holidays are coming up, and there's a lot of things, that my brother has the tools to really do and all that. And if you're looking for anybody to work on graphics, just little shindigs, cups, whatever, shirts, all of that, get with PhillVill, man, because he can definitely, you guys see it every single week. You see it every single week on the screen. You hear it every single week, and I really just want to get behind my brother, man, because he's worth it, and you guys just don't understand the blessing that,
yeah.
You guys don't understand the blessing that he's been to me and my family. When everybody else just saw, some blind kid, this guy, I still remember, Phil, you don't remember this, but I remember sitting at a table and you said, Loto, you need to go national. You need to be a national speaker. Like, you're not just a local speaker. And lo and behold, we're going to have a story about, going national. It actually came to pass. Excuse me. But honestly, guys, I really don't care about PhillVill. All I'm doing is just trying to get him the resources to keep feeding my goddaughter. That's all I'm trying to do. Bless y'all.
I didn't know we we're going to be doing that way, but thank you again. Thank you.
So man, we had
set it on signals for that.
Okay, boom. Okay, there. But anyways, man, bro, it is episode 18, man. What an amazing month we had in October, brother.
It was huge. Just the response, having some great pastors on for Pastors Appreciation Month from the great lineup we had right from the very beginning.
Yes, brother. We had Pastor Alex Delgado come in.
Yes,
then we had Pastor Full. Yes, let's give it for Alex.
Alex.
I mean, my goodness, he had quite a month, bro. And all of that, man. He became a 2-time Ironman. So for those that don't know, in the athletic world, that's pretty much, you're practically king of the hill, when you accomplish something like that. Then we had, Pastor Fua, Ingafo of Reflection Church. Yes.
And also from the Boss podcast.
Yes. BOSS, big on saving souls, man. What an incredible interview that was. We got to talk even about, church stuff, I mean, just church hurt or church blame. That was I love that
sneaky,
part of it.
Right?
Jehovah sneaky.
Yeah. And I love to talk about spam. Spam was a couple episodes actually we talked about. I love spam. That's good stuff.
Yeah, and then we had our brother, our very own, Pastor Nathan Franklin.
Yes, it was great having him back on, having him the first time, but
yes,
it was great seeing him. And personally, just great time there.
It was, and that one, man, because of his role, and just his place in the community, man, that was very unique. I was so he mentioned on Facebook, man, he shared some gratitude. And I was like, man, it was only, as awesome as it was because he was just open, and just shared so much. Speaking of, the king of the hill, the king of the boxing ring, when it comes, to just community stuff, Pastor Anthony Flores.
Yes, he just a great mighty man of God, a great example to a lot of men.
Yes,
just inspiring a community and a church, and of course, he's also from the Not Offended podcast.
Yes,
here locally, so just doing great work, just great movement of what. It's happening in his life.
Amen. And it's so awesome, man. PhillVill, when we bring people on, we want to introduce them and really just talk about parts in their lives, and them as a person that other people don't know.
Yeah.
But man, I mean, Not Offended, man, that's a great place to go and see not just Pastor Anthony, but what an awesome representation, not just of the church, but of the kingdom, man. Those brothers are they're funny, and really, bro, I just love how committed they are to the truth. So PhillVill, man, I heard you had a pretty interesting week, brother.
It was a great week, great weekend. But I'll be honest with you, have you ever been in a long line at DMV?
Yes, bro. Yeah,
I can see why some people backslide in the middle of the DMV. They throw things, they start going postal, but really it's just in my mind. No, I didn't do anything crazy, but I had to get tags for both vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
So I love convenience, but I love technology, but sometimes technology is not very cooperative with you. So I go to get my registry done. I go in the little, it's like an ATM, but it's an automatic machine that you do. Press the button.
Yeah.
It was a short line, so I was there pretty quick. But I felt the pressure. I had a long line start to form behind me.
Yeah.
And I'm pressing the buttons. I'm like, you need this, and then I went to pay. I couldn't even stick the card the right way. They were trying to guide me. I went
Hurry up,
I went blank on how do I do this?
Oh, wait. Hold on, PhillVill. You okay? Family, I think Philip just admitted that he's been driving dirty. Is that what you've been doing with my goddaughter in the car, bro?
Oh,
yes.
Moving on. No. We were very legal, very safe because nobody caught us. So, So I finally came up to the window.
Yes.
And they asked for my paperwork, and guess what? I left it in the car. So I had to get out.
Oh, wow.
Then I finally went back, and I said, you know what? The payment that you just made right now on the machine won't show up for our system for another 24 hours. So you have to come back tomorrow. Again, I've been there for close to 3 hours.
Wow.
Total. And I'm like, what? Okay. Anyway, so I'm now back a Christian. I think I confessed sins of anger and try not to go crazy. That's my story of DMV. It was great being back. But before that, we had a great time on the weekend.
Yeah, I heard.
And I heard that something happened with you on ministry time.
Well, no, before we get to that, man, I know that you guys had a little gathering here at the house. Actually, not a little, a big gathering here at the house. Speaking of adventure.
Yeah, we had a worship team here, the worship adventure family, we call them. We just came together with some great food, some feasting, some tri-tips, some enchilada casseroles, and just worship all together.
Yeah.
And it was the core team from the new Southeast campus.
That is awesome,
it was
bro.
a great time with Kim and everybody and the whole team.
Amen.
But it's an adventure and the Cornerstone. Everybody's having in this season some truck or treats.
Yes,
I heard you guys had something going on, but not in the church, but it was taking the church.
So we did have an event at the church, a trunk or treat event, this last Monday. But last week we had a trunk or treat for the kids at Juvenile Hall, the youth over there. Yeah. So that was really, really cool, bro. As you know, we do quite a bit of events now, but one thing I really appreciate about this is we really partnered with the other programs and agencies, that are on the campus, so you had, there was Boys and Girls Club, mental health service, and quite a few other agencies, man, that got together and put on this wonderful event. PhillVill, this is something that I really walk away from with these events, and usually it's during camp, but man, I really got to see it again, during these events last week, because we did it for 2 days, to accommodate everybody on the campus, for at least an hour, you got to see, youth who are incarcerated, for very bad things, but they were kids all over again. You saw the kid just jump out again, as they went from booth to booth, and getting candies, or playing the game, brother, our boy Loto, the one that's just celebrated his birthday. He built his mom, a game. It's called Feed the Clown. It's a corn toss game, and just, man, it was just awesome just to see, kids being kids, especially in a place that, like Juvenile Hall.
I love that you get to do that. I wish I could have been there for that, just to see. We're so grateful.
Yeah,
the boys there and the girls in Juvenile Hall. They just
they love you guys over there. Yeah. When we do worship, they eat you guys big time, man. But speaking of kids and girls, and all that, knock knock.
Who's there?
Boo.
Boo hoo.
You ain't got to cry about it, bro.
Oh, okay. But yeah, speaking of Boo though, how did you know? Oh, you know, your goddaughter was Boo again. Now, she wasn't last year. She was tiny, but we dressed her up as Boo.
She was Bo.
Bo?
1 O. Not 2 O's.
Okay. Yes, she dressed up as Boo from Monsters Inc. She's cute. She was cute as could be, and she was going to have two costumes.
Amen.
One, it was a Monday.
Yeah.
And she went to daycare for Boo, and the plan was to also have her dressed up as a beautiful princess. Aww. And that she is in the evening, and go to Adventure, maybe a couple other places, friends of ours, churches, and even yours, right? Yeah. She'll say hello to the family. But guess what? She went, and we got the call that she was sick. So we spend our day in the harvest events that were planned on with her. I was homesick, and also Mama's been sick.
Yeah.
So that was us, but we got pictures. I want to make sure we got pictures. Boo, yes, that was Boo. She was like booing all the way. But she's doing a whole lot better now. But and I hear, speaking of which, somebody in this room has went national across major platforms, and you had an opportunity to talk about it a couple weeks ago, but it actually was released.
Yeah,
talk about it.
Yep. So, family, we reported a couple weeks ago that I was going to be featured on an article. It's on YouTube. It's online. I believe that we'll have the link and all that, to it. And I got to shout out Bill Murphy Jr. Thank you, Bill, for just a wonderful honor, man. I hope I justified the invitation, man, because that was very humbling, and I really thank God. So Bill Murphy Jr., he runs the website understandably.com, and he's also the leading writer for inc.com or incorporated.com, so it was pretty exciting, bro. And I got to tell you, man, it's still kind of sinking in that, like, wow. All those, there was that many people that came across the story and really got to read the story. So I just pray, brother, that, it reach lives. Again, the same thing we want to do here in Overflow, reach lives and be a blessing, so, and especially with the holidays coming up.
Well, congratulations. It's great to see what God is doing in your life. Praise and the God. Ministry. God is opening a lot of doors.
Praise the Lord.
Now it's time for...
It's your news makers and breakers.
For our first one up, we're here in the studio just taking some time. We got the news that Takeoff, member of rap group Migos, is now dead at 28. And there's reaction happening across the entertainment industry. And here's one from Designer's reaction.
Why? Why do we do this? Why do we do this? Why do we do it? I swear to God, it said ain't nothing. I'm done rap. I'm done rap. Yo, you hearing me? It's done. This version of me is done. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. That's a Takeoff, bro. It's done.
Yeah, we're hearing across the Twitterverse of a lot of stars and celebrities are giving their condolences. Mike Tyson is saying, sick about young Takeoff. I met him a few times and was such a bright light. May he shine eternally now. And another one from Outkast, rest in peace, Takeoff. Sending our deepest condolences and prayers to his family and friends and community of people touched by his craft. TMZ is reporting Quavo in heated argument before fatal shots. And there's a new video from the shooting, and we're not going to play it here. But Quavo was toe-to-toe with a group of guys outside the Houston bowling alley. Takeoff and others had his back while he argued for more than 30 seconds before the shooting began. Yeah. That's what TMZ is reporting. Loto, your reaction?
It's heartbreak. I think the greatest tragedy of this whole ordeal is it was so unnecessary. The hip hop world, they've experienced a lot of tragedy, in this manner. And like I said, it's sad because it was unnecessary. But I think what we could do, in times like this and with stories like this is we've got to take lessons from these, and I think one of the greatest lessons for me personally is to really consider your actions and to really think about, consequences, and because so many times we talk to people, after these type of things, and every single one, I wish I could have done something different. But what could I have done differently? What should I have done? But we need to start considering those things before. Somebody got mad, somebody got angry. There was an argument, and it's sad because like a lot of these situations, it's usually the innocent that dies. Takeoff was just standing there. He was just with this. I believe his family member, Cuervo is, and he ends up losing his life over it, and so I just, I'm trying to just take a lesson from this, because with tragedy that's so unnecessary, I think that's the best thing we could do with those.
Yeah, Lola, it's a huge tragedy, but in middle of tragedy, want to share a little bit of inspiration.
Thank you, bro.
About another music person. Now, actually, if the Daily Mail is reporting across the wire, is aspiring rapper save 4 sleeping siblings from house fire after taking a wrong turn and finding it in flames. Now, he pounded on the windows until the children just woke up. The family ran for their lives, but he made a wrong turn. But it wasn't a wrong turn, Loto.
There's no such thing as wrong turns, bro. Whenever we make a wrong turn, that's something I always remind whoever's driving, and man, this case definitely makes that, in the world where there's so many tragedies, it's so awesome to come across these. So, wow, shout out to. Does it say the rapper's name or not?
According to KCRA, Brendan Burt goes by the moniker Blaze 96 in his music career.
Okay.
Took a wrong turn in the town of Red Oak, and when he came up on the home, he told the station, "I just felt like somebody was in there because it was so late at night."
Jeez. And of all things, his name starts with Blaze. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
I don't know if you heard, there's an election happening here nationally and locally.
I heard
something like that. Yes. But you know what? In the world, they're having their elections too. And in Israel, we have a man on the street, by the way, Dennis McCourt. He's out there in Israel and announced it on Breitbart. Bibi is back. Exit polls show Netanyahu with majority block in Israeli elections. So what do you think about Netanyahu?
I think that's cool, bro. Like you said, man, shout out to Dennis McCourt, Kingdom Talk Radio host. Our boy, man, he's out there. He's on the ground. We might even show some footage from that because he actually had an interview with a very important individual over there and over here. But yeah, bro, Israel, man, they have just as much right as we do to pick our own leaders. And I'm glad they're exercising that right.
And Lodi, you could talk about another election that's happened in Brazil.
Oh, goodness.
Are you going to share a little bit about that?
Yes. I am glad that the previous, what's his name? Bolsonaro? Okay. Hey, I am glad that, Bolsonaro is not just conceding because there's a lot of discrepancies with the way the election panned out, for those who are paying close attention, but.
Yeah, that's again, the one he's running for president, right? Brazil's Bolsonaro signals cooperation with transfer of power, but does not concede election defeat. That's what CNN is reporting.
Yeah. So he's actually the current leader, and so, that's why he's agreeing to the transition, but, he's not conceding because, again, there's a lot of questions about the election.
Yeah, and I love this next story. I don't know about you, but I love Christmas season. It's just around the corner. Yes, we're talking about Christmas, and we just passed Halloween right now. But A Christmas Story sequel is on the horizon with Peter Billingsley returning as Ralphie. And I know you say you don't remember this one too much, but it's really the top 5 Christmas movies of all time. I know there's channels that have it playing through the whole day. There's musicals that we even saw one last year. This is an iconic movie, and I'm just glad that it's being released in time for Christmas.
Yeah, bro. I mean, I'm pretty sure these were classics, for when we were kids. But I remember Home Alone. I remember
Home Alone,
Scrooge, and all that. One. This one I was probably doing other things.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Now, this movie will be released on HBO Max November 17th.
Okay.
And, speaking of sequels.
So not theater.
Oh, no, not theater. I was hoping for the theater, but this one is going straight to HBO. And then Avatar, The Blue People. They're coming out with a sequel coming out soon. And guess what? It's going to be 3 hours and 10 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah. Now this is after a 13-year wait for the sequel. 13 years.
Yeah.
But I hear that they're making a new trilogy off of this. And hey, Avatar was a great movie. But I also heard they might be bringing back intermission in movies.
Oh, wow.
I don't know. We'll see. For a 3-hour movie.
Yeah. Well, when you said, during the drip, the little blue people, I thought you were talking about Smurfs. I was like, oh, we're gonna have Smurfs 3. What are we doing here?
La 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 la.
Yeah, but so Avatar. I haven't even watched the first one. I do know was there a TV show called Airbender or
the Airbender the last Avatar.
See, someone asked me if I watched that. I said no, but I did watch Windbreaker.
I just saw you break wind. That's it. Okay, moving on. Speaking of Musk, while Elon Musk, the drama continues there at Twitter. But I don't know. You saw Elon Musk come in with a tweet, but there's so much chaos happening. Really, I think people are just crying over nothing because the Hollywood elites are panicking now. Loto, they vowed to quit Twitter over Elon Musk takeover. I'm out of here, is what they're saying. Does it kind of remind you of back when the current president was going to become president? Yeah. I'm moving to Canada.
Yeah.
So do you think they're going to quit? Some are saying, I'm taking a month off. I'm taking 2 weeks off. I'm leaving altogether. It's just crazy.
Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. That's it, bro.
I don't know what to say about that. Yes, Elon Musk, the Musk himself, must continue.
Elon. Yes, the Musk.
Okay. And then you gotta have fun. But this is a weird fact that I did not know. You sent this over to me. Julia Roberts. CNN is reporting. Yeah, CNN
Pretty woman herself.
Julia Roberts reveals Martin Luther King Jr.
Yeah.
And Coretta Scott King paid the hospital bill for her birth. That's a historic connection there from Julia Roberts. And you sent this to me. What do you think, Loto?
No, I think that's super cool. And she's actually one of my favorite actors,
55 years old.
And I know the proper term is, actress, but I say actress because all women and men, she's definitely one of my favorites. I love Julia Roberts' movie. She picks some really good scripts, but to know that she has a connection with the Kings, that's really, really cool, bro. Yeah. And happy birthday to Julia Roberts. 55, bro, on the 28th of last month.
The King family paid for my hospital bill.
Not my family.
Not your family, but
Martin Luther King Jr.
and Coretta.
And how did that come about?
Well,
did you guys know that about Julia Roberts? That's what I said. Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott King Jr. Why did they do that? Because your dad, Walter Roberts.
Yes, and obviously because my parents couldn't pay for the hospital bill.
And that's it for...
It's your news makers and breakers.
We have Radio Royalty that just came through the studio. Yep. It's here on today's show. I can't wait. And who do we have?
Guillermo Moreno of KXEX, the man himself. Well, welcome again, extended family. Man, we have a wonderful guest with us, man. It's hard to believe, man, that we still have a lot of guests coming in after last month, but this one is definitely somebody that you all will love, somebody that we've grown to love. He's the owner of KXEX 1550. Make sure that you all tune into that, subscribe to it on YouTube and all the platforms, Facebook, Instagram. Make sure that you follow. We also show the broadcast live on Facebook for those of you that wants to watch everybody live. So everybody, welcome Guillermo Moreno.
Yeah.
Me.
It's so exciting there, Guillermo.
I thought you were gonna pull a Regis and say it's Guillermo.
Yeah, how about next time? But I don't know if I'm like the best guest you guys have ever had. I mean, you guys have pastors on. Those guys those guys are men of the cloth. I'm probably like the worst guest you can get, especially talking about politics. You guys, you left all the dirty work to me,
man. Well, we want to bring in the pros. We want to bring in the pros, and you're definitely a professional at this. And Guillermo, on behalf of PhillVill, we just want to say thank you for letting us be a part of the team there at KXEX, man. It's such a pleasure working with Dennis McCourt, and there on Kingdom Talk Radio, brother. We just want to say thank you before we move on.
The honor is all mine. You guys do a great show. We'd love to have you there, and I really, really love Kingdom Talk. You guys do such a great job at talking about real world issues and bringing in the Bible, which people try to shy away from, because as soon as you mention politics and religion, it's like, well, you know how the saying goes, don't mix politics and religion. Sorry, can't talk about it. Let's talk about the weather.
Man, that's right. And talk, what a way to keep everybody quiet, about talking about things that we should be talking about. I would say it's amazing how, they tell us we shouldn't talk about that in public. Well, okay, then I'll talk about it in my own house. Then they say you can't bring it up at the dinner table. So when are we supposed to bring it up? So that's why, we're grateful for KXEX. It's definitely a great platform where we get to address these certain things. On that note, can you kind of give us a little bit of history and talk about KXEX for our audience?
Sure, I'll even give you guys the inside scoop even more.
Yes.
So KXEX used to be KGED, and a little known fact about 1550 KXEX 1550 back in the day used to be the #1 rated station in the market. It was Spanish radio, KXEX, so it was the top station in the market.
Oh, wow.
And a lot of people don't know that it wasn't talk, and then it went to some other formats. So when I came in, they were thinking about potentially dropping the format altogether, the talk station. And it started out as Christian talk. That was kind of the lynch right there, was the linchpin was Christian talk, and it was KGED Christian talk. And Pastor Jim Franklin spearheaded that, and they did a great job. And then, the economy hit, times got rough, and the station was kind of really in limbo. And then that's when I got the call, and it was really God's timing. I was finishing up, one door closed where I was at already, and this one just opened. And so the owner called me and said, "Hey, do you want to run the whole station?" And I said, "Well, I'm an on-air talent. I have no idea anything else besides just talking about it, cracking a mic." So we came in, and we were able to take it over. And one of the things that I think I regret in retrospect was, I have a radio consultant, great guy. We're really good friends. And he had said, Guillermo, Christian talk is really not helping you. And it's really not helping move the station forward. Like, it's not going to make it viable, and it's not going to make it any money. You're not going to make any money. So instead of doing it Christian talk, KGED, and we had a partnership with SRN, The Answer. So we used to be called The Answer,
that's right,
which is with Salem Radio Network, which is a Christian-based syndication house. So he said, "Hey, listen, let's drop the name, let's drop the word Christian, because when you do that, when you say Christian, you're really alienating a lot of people." And I said, "Well, I guess I get that, and I don't want to alienate everybody."
Sure.
And his famous thing was, and I think you can use this in evangelism. I think you can use this in anything in life, is, you can't add by subtracting.
Yeah.
So if you have an atheist listening, or you have someone that, is not a Christian, and they keep hearing this is Christian talk, The Answer, Christian talk, they're going to feel like, oh, well, that's just for Christians, I can't listen. Yeah. So I pretty much convinced myself that, what? Yeah, let's go ahead and drop the Christian connection. But deep down, our roots are still going to be Christian connected. Like, I'm not changing the weekend programming. We're still going to have churches on. We're not basically saying, "Hi, we're Christian."
Yes.
It's like evangelizing, right? You don't go up to a person that doesn't know Jesus and be like, "Hey, I'm a Christian. Just want to let you know that before I start talking to you, and you need to change your ways, or else you're going straight to hell."
Yeah.
So I dropped the Christian, imaging right away. And then I do regret it, because I should have probably said, no, we still need to keep that Christian connection going. So I've been talking to Dennis, and we're trying to figure out a way to let everybody know that this is, still a Christian station. So that's kind of a short history. And, radio is very special. They've always said for many, many years, with the advent of social media, podcasting, television, that radio's dying, radio's dead. It's not going to be a moneymaker. But what I tell everybody is, when they stop putting radio in the car, that's when radio will be dead.
Yeah.
But as long as they make cars with radio, it's going to happen. And I attend a big conference every year, and surprisingly, radio still reaches more than any other medium.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's crazy. Podcasting is number 2.
Yeah.
I mean, podcasting reaches more than television. So we're really happy what we do there. We are more local. We get to make decisions on the fly. Corporate radio is a big beast. All they care about is profits and margins. Yeah. So that's what they care about at the end of the day. I would like to make money eventually. I mean, that would be nice, right?
Yeah.
But, at the end of the day, let me give you a good example. When I came in, I also said, look, we're going to do politics Monday through Friday. Politics only Monday through Friday. Politics only Monday through Friday. When Dennis McCourt came in, he said, hey, I want to bring in Steve Gregg. And I was like, okay, well, I don't know who that is. He's like, well, he does a 1-hour evangelism Bible question show. And I said, well, you know what? It took me a long time to get to politics only from Monday through Friday. I'm not sure I want to break the mold. And he's like, look, you got to do it. If you're a Christian station, which you really are at your roots, you got to do it.
Yeah.
So we worked out a deal, and so at 2 p.m. we have a Christian evangelist on live every single day. And I don't regret the move, because right now it's like every show he's talking about political issues. It's crazy because callers are calling in, and every week they mention abortion, they mention life, and that's in the Bible. So when you think about it, I mean, the Bible says so much about every topic. So it's kind of hard to say, okay, we're only a political station. I think people forget how intertwined the Bible and politics actually is. And so when I look at what Pastor Franklin is doing, when I look at what Pastor Flores with Adventure Church is doing, I mean, you have to. You can't go to a church and the church just say, hey, listen, man, no, listen, we want you to go vote, but this is the church time, and this is our time. I'm Seventh-day Adventist.
Yes, sir.
So when I go to church, I don't want to hear politics, and maybe because I hear it all week, I don't want to go and hear it again. I'm not one. I don't want to hear politics at the pulpit, but darn it, like any other part of the church, you need to be very actively involved.
Yeah,
that's always been my view, because when you're preaching a sermon, you should never talk about one side or the other. I mean, you should talk about moral issues, obviously, but definitely not there. The church can do such a big work, but just not from the pulpit during this sermon. That would be my view.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of people share that view. I think there's definitely a place for everything. I do believe, though, there are those times where things just have to be said, and there's so many people that looks to the pulpit for direction, and for guidance. That it's almost a derelict of duty for those behind the pulpit to not speak out against certain things. So but
it's tough, Loto. It really is tough, because when I look at like Pastor Franklin and Pastor Flores are just unapologetic. They will do it at the pulpit.
Yeah.
And that I don't know. I love both of them. I'm just not sure if the pulpit is the time. I look at it this way. I remember going to Seventh-day Adventist Church in Fresno, and it was during the Obama administration, and they were praising Obama during the sermon. And it turned me off. Yeah. It really turned me off. And I don't know why. I just felt so turned off by it.
Yes.
So I don't know. It's tough, but I mean, I don't think there's a for sure answer on this, because when young women are using abortion as a contraception method, when you have fentanyl, you have drugs, you have crime, you have all these real world issues, and you don't hear them from the pulpit. So I don't know. That's just my preference. No, you're right.
Yep. Yeah. I agree. I agree with you. I agree with you. It is, especially with the point that you made, that politics and Bible is so intertwined. A lot of our laws, a lot of our legislative, comes from Bible, comes from the 10 Commandments. So it's amazing how you do have your Pastor Jim Franklin's, your Pastor Anthony Flores, who's able to navigate those things, because man, like I say all the time, better than me, better than me. And there's a reason why they're pastors and we're not, and so I just thank God that they have the ability to do that. But yeah, it's a different stroke for different folks. There's definitely people who get turned off. The sad reality is that we're in a time where things are so Polaroid, that things are so controversial that, again, I think people are looking for direction, looking for guidance. And, I just thank God there's still people who's looking to that pulpit, But as ministers, we do have to be faithful with the pulpit. We can't just use it as a sledgehammer as well. and continue to beat one side or the other. All we can really do is just highlight the truth. I think, again, the challenge is how do you push the truth and not, come across as you're speaking against, one or the other, or promoting the other over the other. So, but man, and that's why, again, I'm so grateful for KXEX. This is the platform to do it. This is the place to do it. I thank God that we have a place in public square, that we're still allowed, to share opinions and all that. So again, Guillermo, thank you for stepping up. Thank you for stepping up and holding this door open for us.
Oh, it's an honor. But the last thing I'll say on the church and preaching from the pulpit is this: I don't ever want our churches to become partisan.
Yeah.
Because our churches can become partisan. And you mentioned an interesting word there, public square. Yeah. With everybody talking about Twitter, Facebook, and if Twitter is a public square, I feel that if too many pastors start talking about politics at the pulpit, churches are going to turn into the public square. I mean, and imagine that. I mean, we already are like, well, I'm Seventh-day Adventist. I'm going to go to my church. You're over there on that side, and I'll pastor over here. I think we're going to head into some dangerous territory if our churches become the public square for politics. So I think point. We really got to be careful, with that, because you want to know a way to turn off anybody real quick? Talk about politics. Oh my gosh. It is people, when and I've seen it firsthand, because when I'm out and about in Fresno and people know me, I'll be standing in line somewhere and they'll, the person ahead of me will get nice treatment. And they know, I know when people have seen me or know me by my voice, I get totally different treatment, which is okay. Yes. But I mean, politics is just a real quick way to turn it on. I mean, people either love you or they hate you.
Yes.
I rarely meet anybody in the middle.
No. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And that's so funny. It's the quickest way to turn them off. And it's the quickest way to turn somebody else super on. I mean, people just get, inflamed, both sides, both sides, But you're absolutely right. We do not want, the churches to become partisan. That's not our job. On this show, we're going to talk about voting and we're going to talk about politics. The thing about politics is I don't mind talking about it because it's not political for me. It's personal. It's extremely personal. And I believe this is the same for Philip, yourself, and all of us involved with this, and it's so important because we still have this thing that we've been blessed with, to make an impact and to make a difference. And that's called an election, and we're in election season, but there's always that thing that we all grew up with, they say, well, why do you even vote? Your vote doesn't count. What do you have to say about that, Guillermo?
Oh man, it counts. Your vote is the most, it is the most sacred thing civically that you have is your vote. Why, when I talk to people, and I get it, politics is discouraging. Life can sometimes be discouraging, but does that mean you're just going to stay in your house and you're not going to go out? I want to tell two stories. Number one, your vote counts just mathematically. Let me just put it that way. I remember being on a campaign for Johnny Teixeira, and he's Republican, and he ran against Jim Costa. And I remember that campaign. Everyone said, dude, you're going to lose. You're going to lose. You're going to lose. Don't even do it. He said, you know what? I believe in my message, and I got the Lord, and I got my church. My church is walking for me. And he did. Riverdale. He had his church. They all walked for him. And I remember election night. He was up by, I think, like maybe about 1,000 or 2,000 votes. And just think of that. 2,000 votes. I know 2,000 people in the Fresno area. And if everyone would have, everyone votes, you could swing an election. Number one. So he didn't get certified. The absentee ballots came in, and get this, he went to DC as the next congressman, and he was in orientation, because when you get elected as a congressman, you got to go over there they call it freshman orientation. Freshman orientation. And he told me, he goes, Guillermo, when I was there, they gave me a book of all of us first year congressmen that got elected. And they had so many credentials, and on my page they just had my picture, and all it said is farmer. And I started laughing with the story. But he ended up getting sent back home because the absentee ballots came in. He ended up losing. He ended up losing by less than 300 votes. 300 votes. 300. That ended up being 1 to 2 votes every precinct.
Jeez.
So back then, remember, you used to go into if you didn't do absentee, you used to go into the voting poll, right?
Yes.
Imagine you were that one person.
Gosh.
You could have been that one person. I mean, it's just insanity. So mathematically, your vote counts, even if you don't think it does. Now, that's just on a congressional level. This November, in a couple of days, on November 8th, that's a congressional seat. You know how many local seats are on the ballot? You know how many school board seats are on the ballot? You know how many city council seats are on the ballot for Clovis? And Clovis is crazy right now because they get to elect 3 different people. Man. So you get to vote 3 times. Let me tell you this, and I guarantee you, this coming Tuesday, some races are going to probably be decided in just double digits. Jeez. That's it. Like maybe 80 votes in some of these races. So when people say my vote doesn't count, it might not count for United States Senate in California.
Good point.
But I'll tell you what, it'll definitely count for Fresno Unified School Board. Yes. It'll definitely count for Clovis Unified School Board. It'll definitely count. So let me tell you what, you don't want to be that person on November 9th and you look at the returns and you're like, man, I probably should have voted. But you know what? I had to run home and get dinner. I looked at that line. Yeah. It was too long. Yeah, I ran out of time. Do it early, do it now. So that's number 1. Just mathematically, your vote does count. Yeah. Number 2, you got to do it. It's your civic duty. I mean, you know how many countries, how many people around the world don't have that ability? You know how many people around the world don't have any say in their life? It's insane. Yeah, you have that ability. And, ever since I entered into politics, my goal, and I tell the listeners when I'm on radio, my goal isn't to make you a Republican. That's not my goal.
Come on.
And my goal isn't to make you hate the left. Yeah. My goal is to inform you and honestly, and entertain you, because life is hard. Yeah. Yeah. And if you can't go through life with an uplifting spirit and have hope, if you have hope, you got nothing. So I tell people, I don't care who you vote for.
That's right.
I really don't. If you are a progressive lefty, and you don't want to vote, I say go vote. My job isn't to get you to vote for the Republican Party. That's the Republican Party's job. That's the Republican. The Republican Party has to tell you why you need to vote for them. It's not Guillermo Moreno. I'm not gonna lead you down a battlefield without knowing who I'm. I don't know these people. Most of the politicians I know personally, but that's their job. That's not my job. My job is to encourage you to do your civic duty, because I used to be a Democrat. I was a liberal.
That's right.
Okay. And I voted. So, the other thing, because when I tell Republicans, they're like, what are you doing? What do you mean? You don't want Democrats to vote? And I'm like, no, I do. I want them to do their civic duty, because maybe they're not going to be Democrat forever. That's right. Like I was. Wow. So, for those 2 reasons, mathematically it counts, and you're going to find out in a couple of days how much it counts. Number 2, if you don't agree with my politics, I am conservative. If you don't agree with my politics, I still want to see you with that I voted sticker.
So good, bro.
Because if you're not wearing that sticker, it's just, there's so many people around the world that don't have that opportunity, and it's an honor that we have. I wish we had more political parties, but it's an honor to have so much discourse and so much difference in thought. I mean, that really makes a difference. So please, go vote. It matters. Do your patriotic civic duty and just do it.
Hey, Guillermo, I thank you again for coming on the show today on Overflow. And I just love what you're talking about. You've been a huge blessing to Loto and I, and again on Kingdom Talk. But I just love that you have just like Loto here. You guys are known for the gift of gab, right? You have a talent.
Yeah. He just called us big mouth, bro.
Yeah. I love it that you speak. You're in the trenches a lot in the political world. But if you can't speak to those who just how you said it's our civic duty, but you see nationally and it all the way down to here locally, how our freedoms are being tested and challenged, not just in the vote, but our freedom of speech, our freedom of thought, our freedom of exchange ideas. Can you speak a little bit to that?
Yeah, it really is. And I think COVID had a lot to do with it. A lot of municipalities said, what, we're just going to go on Zoom, or we're just going to limit public thought, or we're going to limit the freedom of speech. I've never seen this before, and I mean, I haven't been alive that long, but I don't understand why those in power are so afraid to hear what people have to say. And to be honest with you, this happens on both sides in different forms.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't want to sit here and just say that, the left are the only ones that close thought.
That's right.
It happens on both sides. But the reality is, I think everybody saw during COVID that the most important decision isn't the man at the very top. Joe Biden, Donald Trump, Barack Obama. Yeah, they're important, but they're not going to affect what happens to your kids in school.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to affect you being able to go to your school board meeting and say, hey, you know what? I kind of don't like that book that you guys that you have in history. Or wait a minute, why is my child being taught sex ed in third grade? Those are the decisions that affect you. And if you don't have the ability to go up and talk to your local elected officials, there's a big problem with that. So, to just kind of hone in on your question, let me put it this way, because I also say this, and I know people probably disagree with me. Do I believe that America is under attack, or do I believe that one political party is wanting the destruction of America? I don't believe that. I think that God has chosen this country. God has blessed this country, and I don't see. How should I say this? Yeah. I think we're going to be fine. We will be fine. Especially, I'll tell you what. As long as people go to church, we're going to be fine as a country.
Yes,
because and this goes all back to being involved in politics. As long as people go to church, as long as people have morality, as long as people are connected to God, as long as people are connected to the family, we're going to be fine. And sometimes the government doesn't want to hear from you, and sometimes they'll stifle your freedom of speech. But at the end of the day, if your child is being taught something in school, they can come home and you can either unteach it or you can help them through life. Yeah. Because right now, let me tell you, and you guys are young, especially Loto. I mean, we're all young. We're all millennials here. Back when we were in school, my mom didn't have to compete with social media.
Yeah.
My mom didn't have to compete with anybody. I didn't have a cell phone. I didn't have a computer.
No pager?
No what?
No pager?
No pager. No pager either. But I'll tell you what, my mom had the belt.
Yeah,
she did have.
Oh my goodness.
So whatever they teach at school, or whatever they're telling your child, if you don't sit down at the dinner table, or if you don't make time for your kid, then you're just as bad as everybody else.
Yeah.
I just can't say that enough. Sometimes on our side of the political aisle, oh my goodness, CRT. Oh my goodness, abortion. Yeah, look at what they're teaching the kids. Okay, yeah, that's fine. But what are you teaching your child?
Come on.
What are you teaching your child when they're sitting in that classroom and they're sitting to someone that might not have a mom or a dad, and they have maybe a grandparent that's their guardian, and they don't know about any of this? What example is your child giving to them? Have you instilled in them the message of Christ, and have you instilled in them your familial values? Because I had a lot of friends growing up, and a lot of them were just as we were poor. And I had great family. I was a single parent. I wasn't a single parent. I was raised by a single parent. Yes. And I hope I had an effect on my fellow classmates. But kids these days, Loto and Phil, I'm not a parent, and I don't know what it is to compete with social media. But let me tell you what, if you're not with your kids, and if you're not teaching them, instructing them, don't worry about freedom of speech. Your home is the first place. Now, when they come in your home and they try to shut you up, that's when you need to start worrying. But until then, when you can shut your door and you can have that private conversation with your child and your family, they haven't really stifled our freedom of speech.
And that's it right there. I love you talk about the core family, to learn from the family and our faith. And you could think back to my family, my parents, your parents, your grandparents, maybe even the Democrat Party. And again, I'm not trying to make it completely partisan here, because this is both sides. I think there's the parents, or the different generation of Democrats, stood for family, stood for freedoms, stood for some core, for the poor, for some core values. And I feel like there's Democrats out there, and we're seeing it taking a stand on the issues of the day, because we're saying last week, I believe, Loto, I think both sides should take back their party in a sense. Like, no, we're not going to stand for that, because the majority are not for those mutilation of kids. So So again, thank you for that, Loto.
Again, we're joined by the captain at the wheel behind KXEX, the man himself, Guillermo Moreno. Guillermo, thank you so much again for joining us. For someone that doesn't have kids, you've got great parenting counseling, brother. I mean, that's great parenting advice.
And I want to make sure I get this in because I think this is what I try to drive home in my program. The first one is this. On November 9th, I think the conservatives are going to win. Well, I know the conservatives will win the House. All the numbers are coming out. It's going to take a miracle for the left to win the House. Yeah. The Senate, I'm not so sure, but the Republicans will win on Tuesday. But listen to what I have to say. The answer to all of our problems isn't the Republican Party.
Come on.
It's not the Democrat Party.
Yes.
It's not the Independent Party.
Yes.
If you believe that one political party the very next day can turn on the light switch and everything will be fixed, you're wrong. And I try to tell people it's bad. I get it, but don't think that one political party, a man can take care of all these problems. It doesn't work. It's not going to happen. So, to our hyper political listeners, the Republican Party is not going to turn this ship around right away. It's just not going to happen. That's number one. So don't put your faith in a political party. Put your faith in God.
Yeah.
Pray for the country. That's number one. Number two is this, and sometimes I have to be careful of this too.
Okay.
A lot of people, unfortunately, these days are putting political party first. That's their religion.
Man.
They say they're Christian, but they worship at the altar of the Republican Party, or they worship at the altar of the Democrat Party.
Come on.
This goes back to what you said. Well, hey, growing up, that the Democrats used to stand for this, the Republicans used to stand for this.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now they're not doing any much standing anymore. Both parties, they're pretty much just looking at the political wins, and that's all they're doing. I don't know how many people I've met that are on the left who I've had conversations before, and they totally agree with something, let's just say they're Democrat. They totally agree with the conservative viewpoint of it, but just because their political party or their politician did it, it's okay. And I tell them, wait a minute, you don't agree with that, but why do you deem it's okay? Just because your political party says it's okay, that's their stance right now, you're okay with it, even though deep down in your heart it's wrong? And that's because if they put things in this order: political party first, friends and family, and then God. If God even makes the list. But it should be God, family, country. Not political party, family and friends, and then God.
Yeah.
That's our biggest problem right now in this country, is the fact that these politicians it's a religion. Politics is their religion.
Yeah. Who do we vote for next Tuesday? No, just kidding.
Oh man, I will. I'm going to give you a play-by-play. You ready? All the way from the top.
All right.
You vote for whoever deep down in your heart you feel aligns with your moral values. And let me tell you,
Kanye.
Sometimes the decision is bad and worse.
Yeah.
So it's, so that's what I tell you. I never tell people how to vote.
Amen.
I always encourage you, do your research. And then when you're in there, and I don't know, it's happened to me a couple of times. I've done my research and I'm in there and I'm looking at the two names, or I'm looking at the propositions.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, well, you know what? No, I this isn't my gut. This is the way I should vote. So you vote your heart, you vote your values, you vote your gut. And if you don't know who to vote for, you can always leave it blank, or you can write in the one person that can solve it: God.
Again, on behalf of Overflow, just thank you again, Guillermo, for making some time for us. And thank you for really allowing us the space on the weekends to preach the gospel, and then being unafraid, in your approach on how you're managing the radio station, and making sure that we're not subtracting listeners, but that we're adding listeners. My last question before PhillVill comes in with the good ones is, will you come back to join us for another discussion, brother?
Oh, you got it. I mean, I hope I'm not just your election time host.
Amen.
I got good. I mean, I don't know much about football, but I could talk about football. I could talk about vegetarian food. So,
awesome. Okay.
Any topics that I know, I'll definitely come in. Any tennis related topics.
We have this recorded. This is on record.
It's on record.
Everybody's heard it. So no, we would love to bring you back, Guillermo. Thank you again, man. And
thank you.
And as long as you support the Raiders, we'll have a great discussion, brother. We'll have a great discussion.
Oh man.
I mean, it's depressing at this time, but you know.
Hey, let me tell you this. I don't get it. How Allegiant Stadium, where the Raiders play, is the only place in Vegas where the house never wins.
Oh my God. I give you that one. I'll give you that one. Appreciate your time. I hope we justified. You know, you being so generous with it. Thank you, brother.
No, thank you guys, and the honor is all mine. Loto, you are you have a gift, and the Lord has been using you, and just keep doing what the Lord wants you to do, and you could see it every day, every week that I see you. I can see that you're doing the Lord's work. So just a fantastic job. And Philip, man, you got so many gifts.
Yes,
it's such a blessing to know you. It's such a blessing to hear your voice on the station. So trust me, guys, the honor is all mine to have you guys a part of it and to be able to see you guys every week. So thank you guys for what you do. And again, just like me, I know there's tons of stuff that you guys do that are behind the scenes that not everybody knows.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Thank you, Guillermo. And we have you on record. You got to come back.
in the studio. We'll bring him in this time, huh?
Right.
Yeah.
It would be an honor. Thank you guys.
All right. Bless you, sir.
Take care. Hey, Loto, that was a lot of content just from the great Guillermo Moreno.
Man, that was good content.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I know you have a monologue that's you're going to speak more to his interview.
Yeah.
But, before we go there, we want to talk about the 5 excuses or 5 reasons rather that people in the U.S. don't vote.
Yeah.
Now, I know you talked about that with Guillermo, and here's number 5. Number 5, citizens are less likely to vote if they don't think their ballot matters.
I think that's actually true. I think a lot of people do really think their vote doesn't count. That's why, again, on this show, we want to make the case on why we should vote.
Number 4, voters who don't feel candidates represent their views might choose to opt out.
Well, PhillVill, you tell me, brother. I mean, you're the one that voted for Nancy Pelosi and Gavin Newsom. Do you feel represented?
Yeah, they're doing everything I didn't want them to do. So,
yeah, no kidding, right?
Yeah. Okay. We do. Every vote counts. I love that when he talked about that, about his story about the numbers. And number 3, election day is held on Tuesdays.
I don't know, man. What do you? I mean, held on Tuesdays. I don't know how that's different from Thursday, or maybe it's because it's during the week, work day instead of a weekend. What do you think?
Well, now they have early day voting. Now they have mail-in ballots
and drop boxes.
And they have so many other ways they could still. I mean, there's so many ways they could do. They can vote.
Yeah.
So they can vote. Doesn't matter if it's Tuesday and there's no excuse anymore, right?
Man, no love, bro.
Hey, you know what though? If you got a plan to vote, because if not, make a plan, you're gonna it's too late. It's too long of a line, like I was talking about.
Hey,
yeah. And number 2, age, gender, education, socioeconomic status, and race can impact whether a person votes.
Well, I guess that just depends on what I feel like, right? Do I feel like guy today, girl? It just depends. Am I blind? Am I not blind? Just depends on
let's vote
those things. I'm not sure. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, let's take a vote. So I think like the other 3, bro, there's a lot of things that we've done and we've come a long way in addressing those issues. And so I'm not sure how much of a good excuse they are.
Number 1, many Americans want to vote but can't. This is, again, going on. I think these are a great example of excuses. There's a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
There's sometimes maybe things happen. It's not 100%. Then them saying many Americans want to vote but can't doesn't cut it for me.
Got together and we talked about this show. Keeping in mind that this is the last overflow before everybody votes here in America. And so we decided to do something. We want to ask the question or answer the question, why vote? Especially when our vote doesn't count. In air quotes. I'm not going to do air quotes because that's irritating to me. So I'm pretty sure it's irritating to all of you. But I want to answer that question by telling you why I vote. Many of you, you're joining us, and this might be the first place you've met us on Overflow. So PhillVill and I talking politics is really nothing new to you. It's probably your norm. But for those who have known us over 10 years at least, you're probably surprised, when you first tuned in, like, wow, you started talking about politics? Because we've all been told, right? You don't talk about politics, in public and all that. You all heard my spiel about, they don't want us to talk about it in public or in private. So when are we supposed to talk about it? But we were determined to talk about everything, including politics on this show. And because we're in an election, this is why we're addressing this matter. I've always had a sense for politics. I think it's my admiration for leadership. I still remember hearing President Reagan turning over to the leader of the Soviet Union back then, Gorbachev, and said, "Gorbachev, tear this wall down." And I was just thinking, like, man, my boy's a boss, and just telling this other leader to tear the wall down. And then I still remember, a kid, in my family's living room, and I saw like the coolest guy in the world playing the saxophone on Arsenio Hall, and with a pair of glasses on, sunglasses. And I found out he's the president of the United States at that time. And I'm like, man, I'm with dude right there. So when I found out that he was the leader of the Democrat Party, well, at that moment, of course, I'm Democrat. I'm with that guy, And then I grew up. Then I started joining, different things, and I started gangbanging and all that. I started running the streets, like many of you know. And many of you know that decision was very costly for me, but it was not a complete loss, because losing my sight actually gave me a whole nother sight that has impacted profoundly, not just mine, but others' lives as well. And I'm so thankful for God for this new sight that I have, So, I started following God, and that changed my whole perception of leadership again. I started to see that, man, leadership is not just telling people what to do. It's not just telling people tear down the wall, and it's not just putting on a pair of glasses and being cool and all of that. In fact, I started doing something that I really didn't do when I saw leaders. I paid attention. And when I started doing that, my admire fire for the coolest president in the history of the world quickly turned cold, and I was no longer a Democrat. Now, don't get me wrong. I didn't suddenly become a flaming Republican. In fact, I'm registered as neither. When Maria asked me, "Loto, what do you want me to write down for your party affiliation on the voter registration?" I told her to write down God-dependent conservative. Now, I know conservative, they try to make that word taboo, and it's old-fashioned and it's old school. Well, let me ask you something. How's your new school working for you now? How's the new fashion working for you? How's those gas prices? How's that inflation working out for you? Old school's not too bad. Old fashioned's not too bad. I don't remember the world being this crazy when I was little. So maybe we need to get back to some of those things. But anyways, I started paying attention, and my heart began to change when it came to certain world views. So why am I going to vote this year? Why do I vote? Because if I don't vote, they're going to vote for me. There's a lot of talk about election shenanigans going on, and are they cheating and this and that. Well, you know what? I'm going to throw my vote in, because I'm not going to make it easier for them if that's exactly what they're doing. However, I'm going to put my vote down so I can use my voice to speak, even against another vote that stands against my values. Why do I vote? I vote because it's my responsibility to vote. And I do not base my responsibilities on what other people do or don't. Regardless of people voting or not, that does not take away my responsibility to do so myself. I vote because it's my responsibility to vote. Why do I vote? I vote because the people behind me. Many of you know my story about my mom and dad bringing us here to the States for a better life, for education. I owe it to them. So when I vote, it's my way of also saying, thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dad. And it's also a way for me to thank all the heroes who laid down their lives so that I can have this right to do so. And why do I vote? I vote because of them, the ones in the front of me, my children and their children. I vote because when I get my turn to say or have my say about the future and the world that my kids are going to live in and their kids, you better believe I'm going to take full advantage of doing so. On behalf of PhillVill and Overflow EXT, we want to challenge you to get out there and practice your right and vote.
That monologue was top, to get out the vote. And one thing I like, and you would agree, that it's not about party.
No.
It's not about left and right. It doesn't say,
That's
thus
right.
saith the gospel of Democrats, thus saith the gospel of Republican. I know those that might know me know where I stand politically, but hey, you know what? I'd rather preach Jesus before any kind of political party. But I know that my faith does dictate how I vote on certain issues.
Yes, yeah.
That's issues over party. And I think that's all we're trying to say. Know the issues. Do your homework. Don't go by what we say. Don't go by what somebody else says or pundit. Do your own homework. There's children's lives are being impacted right now in the schools and families. But I'm looking forward to this. This was a great episode with Guillermo Moreno and the topics. I just can't wait till next week. But Loto?
Amen. No, I absolutely agree, bro. And you said it, with Guillermo, it was awesome, especially his, just his thoughts on, whether you're Democrat, Republican, we want everybody to engage. This is our country, not Republican, not Democrat, our country. So, bro, I mean, just, well, I think I just spent a few minutes really sharing my thoughts, but I am grateful for a great show, bro. Praise God.
And I was very grateful. My wife just walked in, and I know Mia's going to be going to sleep soon. And so that's what I'm voting for. It's for my family.
Mia for president.
Mia for president. But man, it's powerful. That's what it's all about. Family right there. But thank you so much, extended family, for being part of today's show.
Amen.
And every single week, every view, every watch, every listen, we do thank you for being part of it sincerely. And thank you, pastors, for last month, where they'll be in part, and those churches that are represented.
Amen.
But we'll look forward to next week to seeing you on Overflow EXT podcast. And thank you, Loto. We'll see you all next week.
Love you.
You've been listening to Overflow, the extended conversation, obliterating social norms and overrunning the cultural corrosion with righteous rhetoric and common sense. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed the show, make sure to like, rate, and review. And we'll be back soon. But in the meantime, hit us up on social media at Overflow EXT. Lord bless, and we'll see you next time on Overflow, the extended conversation.